Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Get ready for more traffic this weekend on the northwest side. I-10 east at 1604 closed about an hour ago.
Yeah, it's not scheduled to reopen until 5 o'clock Monday morning. The night team's John Paul Barajas joins us live from 1604 near the rim, where traffic is already backing up. You can see it over your shoulder there, John Paul.
Steve, Stephanie, you guys just said it. Traffic is already backing up on I-10, and we're just 1 hour into this closure. And the traffic is moving, but it's moving very slowly. And actually, it's moving slightly faster than it was about 30 minutes ago. And for those who work in this area, these weekend closures is something they're all too familiar with.
It takes me usually 10 minutes on a good day with traffic to get to work.
And then on weekends, talk to me about that.
Weekends, so there was recently a weekend that I did not anticipate the 1604 I-10 closure, and it took me over an hour to get to work.
The traffic gridlock during weekend closures at I-10 and Loop 1604 can make getting around difficult, but it's also affecting businesses' bottom line.
The closure really has just hindered the movement of people. Too, it changes the business in our stores. We don't have as many people in because it's such a headache to get over here to the rim.
It's not just retail stores reeling. The Rustic closed its stores this week, citing ongoing construction on I-10 and 1604 for the decision. And adding to the congestion, summer tourists visiting SeaWorld and Fiesta Texas.
I didn't even think about that. It's going to be a cluster where it's going to be hell to get in and out of here. This is going to be a place to avoid.
So if you're planning to come out to the northwest side or just drive through, what do you need to know? Well, the closures impacts eastbound I-10 main lanes at Loop 1604, eastbound I-10 collector and distributor lanes, the left lane of westbound I-10 at Loop 1604, and both cloverleaf ramps that connect 1604 to I-10 east. Again, things here are supposed to open back up at 5 in the morning on Monday. On the northwest side, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
A place to avoid, not what businesses out there at the rim want to hear. Thank you, John Paul. You might have noticed I-10 and 1604, not the only part of town seeing tons of road construction. We've got you covered. Even downtown seeing some construction as some of the graduations get underway at the Alamo Dome this weekend. For a complete list of road closures and detours you can take, just look for this article on KSAT.com. So we hope you can plan ahead.
Now, speaking of driving, Hyundai owners are going to get help protecting their cars this weekend. The car maker and SAPD are holding an anti-theft clinic. And here's the best part. It's free. So we told you about this last night on the Night Beat. This is from today's clinic over at NISD's Gustafson Stadium. The clinic comes after an infamous social media trend. You heard about this. It popularized the theft of Hyundais and Kias. Now, if you take your Hyundai to the clinic, you're going to get a software update that's aimed at making your vehicle more difficult to vandalize or even steal. That's all good stuff. Now, again, that event is happening tomorrow and Sunday at NISD's Gustafson Stadium. Now, you don't have to make an appointment. Again, it's free to go. You can go to our website right now, KSAT.com, for a complete list of the hours where you can go and bring your vehicle. Good luck.
Storms earlier this evening came close to parts of our area, even scraping parts of the northern hill country. You look over the past 3 hours and the radar was really lit up near Granite Shoals, Burnett area, and especially even closer to San Angelo earlier today. That's all pushing off to the east and dissipating as it moves through the Austin area. Not much left of it anymore, though it did drop some pretty good rainfall. Even Gillespie County got clipped by it. But look, right along the Colorado River, this yellow, that's radar estimated 2 inches of rain just this evening. That's how close some of those storms came just a few hours ago, whereas we had clear skies locally. Now, earlier today, it was nice to wake up to rain. We needed it. We got some. 0.36 officially at the airport, but Bulverde picked up over an inch. Canyon Lake, another 2 inches this morning. Seguin over an inch. Comfort 1.9 inches in Kerrville, about 1.5 inches. It's good to see that. A minimal storm chance tonight and even first part of the day tomorrow. Weekend rain. There is some hope for Saturday night. We're going to get into those details and talk about where we're watching elsewhere in Texas to bring us some rain in just a bit, Steph.
Thank you, Adam. It's life in prison for this man, Rogelio Mujica. A jury found him guilty of shooting and killing Annette Juarez. Jurors deliberated for 2 hours before reaching their verdict. Juarez killed back in March of 2019. Her body found in the passenger seat of her vehicle parked along the shoulder of Highway 90, parked between General Hudnell Drive and Nagalito Street. Juarez and Mojica had an on-again, off-again relationship. We've shown you this QR code before. I don't think we can show it enough. If you're in a domestic violence situation and you need help, it is out there. Scan this QR code on your screen for a list of available resources that can help you right now.
Now to our southern border, where 300 National Guard soldiers are sleeping in their new dorms over in Eagle Pass. Governor Greg Abbott welcomed them earlier today while taking a tour of Camp Eagle, the 80-acre base camp. The soldiers living there are part of Operation Lone Star, which is the governor's plan to stop people from crossing the border illegally. And some people there not happy about all that military presence.
And anyone is welcome in our community, but just respect our culture, respect our river, respect our story, respect the people who we are.
So Camp Eagle is going to open in phases. 300 more soldiers are going to move in next month, and the base total should house 1,800 troops.
Reaction just keeps coming in following the historic conviction of former President Donald Trump. Tonight, President Joe Biden sounding off after the former president called his hush money trial rigged.
It was a rigged trial.
It's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
That jury unanimously convicting former President Trump of all 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels to keep her story from voters before the 2016 election. Following the verdict last night, former President Trump's campaign actually raised $53 million. Trump's sentencing set for July. He plans to appeal last night's verdict. A San Antonio legend making an appearance at the ballpark tonight. David Robinson at Wolf Stadium for tonight's Missions game. And as you know, Robinson, one of the new owners of the Missions franchise.
And tonight he was there as part of a big donation ceremony. Circle K, the convenience store chain, donated more than $260,000 to the Children of Fallen Patriots Foundation tonight. That's a group that honors our fallen military heroes by providing scholarships for their children. It's a gesture that really goes a long way, especially here in Military City, USA.
One of the passions that we have as an organization is really to kind of give back to our community, and being able to partner with great companies like Circle K and what they were doing with their Children of the Fallen Patriots, it's really fulfilling for us.
Yeah, and listen to this. That donation today is going to provide 42 years of college for children within the Fallen Patriots Scholars Program. Wow.
Amazing. All right, let's go to your Nightbeat News Flash right now. Police in Houston found something shocking when they looked inside the jaws of an alligator. A woman's remains were found. Divers found the alligator near Horsepen Bayou in Clear Lake. The woman was reported missing Tuesday. Unclear exactly how she died. Police have euthanized that alligator. Older adults may soon have another tool to prevent RSV, a new vaccine. The Food and Drug Administration approving Moderna's new vaccine for those who are 60 and older. The drug manufacturer says the vaccine 84% effective at preventing the lower respiratory virus about 4 months after getting that shot. But before you can roll up your sleeves, the CDC needs to give its green light. 160,000 people across the world die from RSV every year. Looks like Jenny from the Block won't be on tour this summer. Jennifer Lopez announcing that today. Her This Is Me live tour was supposed to start next month. Lopez told fans she was, quote, heartsick about having to cancel. She says she did it to spend more time with her children, family, and close friends. One of her shows is supposed to be here in San Antonio. If you bought a ticket for that show, you can get a refund. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash. Tomorrow, June 1st, and June is Pride Month.
So to celebrate the occasion, there are a ton of events happening in San Antonio this weekend. We'll start here. They include the Bud Light Pride River Parades and Celebration, Queer Voices Pachanga, and San Antonio FC Pride Night.
There's a full slate of events happening all month long. Read more about them on KSAT.com.
Coming up, a group of local high school students are getting ready to leave the classroom to become the next wave of heroes. Tonight on the Nightbeat, what those students learned about what it takes to be a first responder.
And as we head to break, we want to take a moment to remember Charlotte Nurnberg, the mother of Mayor Ron Nurnberg. Today we learned she passed away on May 23rd at the age of 72.
In a Facebook post, her daughter-in-law, Erica Prosper, called her a tour de force. The mayor's family is in our thoughts tonight.
From graduation to a new gig, students in Divine and Natalia are finishing high school and heading off to become first responders.
Love this. The Divine Fire and EMS Academy is training future firefighters and emergency medical technicians. Now, some of those students showed the night teams, John Paul Barajas, what they've learned so far.
They're already helping answer real calls for help before they've even graduated from high school. But the Divine Fire and EMS Academy is making sure these students are up to the task.
Kids actually get on ambulances. They actually get on fire trucks. They go out to real calls. And so they're seeing real life firsthand what it's like to be a firefighter and an EMT.
I want to make my family proud doing it. They worry about me sometimes, but I also know that I will be there to hold somebody's hand on their worst day to save somebody's life if I need to.
Lucas Thomas just graduated and already has a full-time job lined up with the fire department.
Being able to lock into that younger generation and breathe some life into our industry with that younger generation really provides some longevity with well-trained folks.
It's a program that Divine Fire Chief Greg Atkinson calls vital, given a nationwide decline in first responders due to COVID.
So what we lost in about a year and a half time, it's going to take almost a decade to completely replace it.
The chief gave me a first-hand look at how these high school students are preparing to become first responders. I'm using the fire hose. I don't know if I'm ready, but we'll give it a shot. Climbing a ladder. Firefighter getting off ladder. And, unfortunately, cardio. But Chief Atkinson made it clear he still encourages students to continue their education.
I'm going to graduate June 1st. I'm going to go to Tarleton to pursue a degree in biology and animal science to become a veterinarian. So on the side, I can do EMT for like part-time and just help me get through college.
You just want to rescue everybody.
Yes.
2024 marks the Academy's first class of high school firefighters and its second class of high school EMTs after starting at Divine High School in 2022 and expanding to Natalia. Chief Atkinson says his team hopes to bring in Pearsall students in 2025.
You mentioned that it's already spreading like wildfire, but I don't see you in a rush to put this fire out.
I am not. This is one fire I'll let burn for a while.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Love that. Now, John Paul mentioned the need for more first responders. Look at those numbers. According to the U.S. Fire Administration, there are fewer workers at registered fire departments across the country.
Yeah, the biggest decline 2023 into 2024 when staffing dropped from 1.21 million fire personnel to 1.2 million. That number could be even bigger. The U.S. Fire Administration's annual report is voluntary. Meanwhile, the state of Texas addressed the concern over EMTs almost 3 years ago. Lawmakers passed Senate Bill 8 in 2021.
So what that did was allocate $21.7 million to, quote, incentivize and increase the number of EMTs and paramedics. And you know what? It's a wonderful job to have. Not everybody wants to go to college, and this is a great career path.
Yeah, heroes, first responders, that's for sure. All right, let's go outside right now. I was hoping for more rain. I was willing to be greedy. Tonight.
Yeah.
We need it.
We're all a little greedy right now. You get a little taste of it, you just want more.
Exactly.
And more and more. And it's okay. That is fine. It's okay to be greedy in the rain department. And I do think we have more opportunities coming this weekend, particularly tomorrow night. More West Texas leftovers, as we often see in this kind of weather pattern. We'll get into that in a moment. I want to show you some good news. Start you off with the good news. Oh, look at the beautiful rain gauge in New Braunfels, 1.8 inches, Manor Creek. And then another one, New Braunfels, 1.5. This is beautiful. Kerrville, 2 more inches on top of the 2 inches a few days ago. And check out the Guadalupe River earlier today, really this morning after the rain came by. The flow was about 450 cubic feet per second. It has since calmed down quite a bit to under 200 cubic feet per second, but it's good to see some water moving out there, especially along the Guadalupe. So we had the rain showers earlier today, and then even another round this evening off to the north of us, just north of the hill country. And this activity just clipped parts of Gillespie County and Blanco County. And as I showed you before, dropped some good rain right along the Colorado River there. Good for the reservoirs along the LCRA. Big picture tomorrow, what we'll be watching is for a few stray splash and dash showers locally, some coastal showers possible, but locally maybe just a couple of brief splash and dash showers during the day. Better chances of some showers and storms developing later on in West Texas and then moving our way. So we're going to be watching West Texas throughout the day because the steering flow aloft can carry that activity toward us and get it here in the nighttime hours. It's when we usually see the nighttime showers and storms. It's the kind of steering flow that we're in. And the Futurecast does indicate that some of this could make its way here. We'll still have enough instability to support some of these showers and storms. I just think it's lower end odds of severe weather, higher end odds of just leftovers from those storms as they diminish, as they push eastward and likely weaken quite a bit. Notice the rain chances, 10% tonight, 20% during the day tomorrow, then up to 30% tomorrow evening. We're not going any higher than that right now, even despite what I showed you with the Futurecast showing a bunch of that rain hitting us, because those models are pretty unreliable in these situations. It's a wait and see, and you just have to see how the storms behave. But you see the steering flow aloft coming in from West Texas there. Upper level high, that's centered right over Mexico. And this is going to split a little bit in the days ahead and stretch northward into Texas by the middle of next week. And I do think that's going to influence our weather and cut off our rain and storm chances a bit by the middle of next week as that upper high splits and sits just about right overhead toward the middle and end of next week. So we're in a pattern right now where we can get the leftovers of some of those West Texas showers and storms. Next week, by Wednesday and Thursday, I don't think we'll be as fortunate. 77 in the morning, 86 at noon, 94 the high temperature tomorrow. Southeasterly wind at 5 to 15. And near 100 along the Rio Grande. Kerrville, though, 90. New Braunfels, 94 the high temperature. Pretty much mid-90s for most of us, with that 30% chance of the showers and storms Saturday night into early Sunday morning. And then the rest of Sunday would be dry. But we have a few more opportunities we can cross our fingers for. Monday night, and then again Tuesday night, we could get some of the leftover action from West Texas or even North Texas as well. So we still have a few opportunities. I like what I'm seeing. You know, see the Guadalupe River flowing now.
Oh yeah.
You know, in Kerrville earlier today, and we're headed in the right direction in some instances. I was looking at Lake Buchanan. That's up significantly just over the past month. So at least some lakes are benefiting.
I just want to get as much rain as we can before the summer doldrums.
Always. This is our time of year.
Yeah, we're all praying for that. So the Cowboys coming together, getting a clearer look as to how the team's going to look in the new season.
Yeah, so they've got a left tackle out in Tyler Guyton. He's a rookie, but he still has to earn the spot. But that means that Tyler Smith can play offensive guard on the left side, and that's where he prefers to play. And in college baseball, Texas and Texas A&M are all set to square off. Coming up. His third season with the Dallas Cowboys, Tyler Smith is now one of the veteran guys on the offensive line. And with the addition of rookie Tyler Guyton, who was drafted to be a left tackle, Smith can go back to playing left guard where the boys really want him.
I'm definitely excited, just knowing kind of, you know, where I'm going to be and, what I need to improve on. Obviously, we got to stay ready because, that's part of our mantra, 5 is 1. Anything happens, everybody has to step up. But I'm definitely excited to, just be able to, work at that spot, just continue to get better each day for sure.
Running back Joe Mixon knows how to score touchdowns, and that's why he was traded to the Houston Texans from the Bengals for a 2024 seventh-round selection. Now that he's had some time to work out with C.J. Stroud, what does he know better about number 7?
That CJ's he's a great teammate. He's a leader, and he definitely make a lot of plays. And to be able to witness that firsthand, man, that's a great thing for me to see.
Both the Texans and Cowboys will hold mandatory minicamps next week, June 4th through the 6th. Last last night in high school baseball. Johnson and O'Connor opened up their best of 3 Class 6A regional finals, and the Panthers took a 3-2 lead in the top of the 5th after this Jaguars wild pitch allowed Marcus Morales to score from third. OC fans were clearly pumped up, but then due to lightning in the area, the game was postponed until tonight at 6, and it was moved from Northeast Sports Park to Northside, where Game 2 was already scheduled. So the weather was much better today at Northside Field number 2 to pick up where we left off last night. The Panthers were ready to battle in the top of the 6th when they come up with the 2-out rally. Marcus Morales drives one into right center. That'll get down, and Jaden Contreras scores from third to make it 4-2. Later in the inning, Callie Evan Biella pops one into shallow center. It hits the turf and jumps over the center fielder. Morales comes all the way around from first to add to the lead as Biella ends up at third. O'Connor would go on to take game 1 6-2. So before game 2 started, Johnson held a players-only meeting facing elimination, and Chad Pontuso was in the middle of fire up his Jags. And we wondered what he said, because in the top of the 3rd inning, Kason Cunningham destroys this ball deep into left center and over the wall for a solo homer, and the Jags weren't done. Top of the 4th, Ryan Maples hits this one straight up the middle. That'll bring in Cade from third to make it 2-0, and the Johnson Jaguars bounce back to win game 2 5-2. So what did Chad tell his Jaguar teammates before a must-win game 2?
This is what we dream of. This is what we do. This is why you put in all the work through the fall, is that so you can get to round 5 and you can achieve those goals that you want. And it kind of seemed like we were a little down, so I said, look, this is it. This is our last ride right here. We got it. We either play or we go home. So
we got to forget what happened in game 2. I mean, it obviously wasn't our best game today, and we just got to forget it and move past it, and we know what we could do.
Decisive game 3 is tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Northeast Sports Complex. Winner advances to state. In the 4A regional final tonight, the Cal Allen Wildcats entered game 2 looking to sweep the Bernie Greyhounds. 3rd inning, Bernie down 2-1 when Jace Preston rolls a grounder to short for the game-tying run. Dylan Perez touches home. Wildcats respond. Blake Quinn with a sac fly to center. Drayson Gomez slides home, and the Wildcats go up 3-2. And the final from Whataburger Field in Corpus, Cal Allen wins it 4-3 on a walk-off, eliminating the Greyhounds. Horns fans are having fun in Aggieland thanks to a local player going yard after the break. In college baseball, Texas A&M opened the Bryan College Station Regional with an easy win this afternoon versus Grambling. The Aggies scored 7 runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning, capped off by this 2-run single to center field off the bat of Ted Burton. Later on in the 5th, check out the glove work by Aggies pitcher Brad Rudis, snagging this comebacker and tossing the batter out at first. Aggies roll the Tigers 8-0, advancing to the winner's bracket. It's the Aggies' first shutout in the NCAA tournament since 2015. The nightcap in that regional saw Texas playing Louisiana in the top of the 5th. Horns shortstop Jalen Flores crushes a grand slam to left field to put the Horns up 10-2. The Brandeis High School alum went 2 for 4 with 4 runs batted in. The Horns banged out 15 hits to top the Raging Cajuns 12-5, and that means Texas advances to the winner's bracket, where they'll play Texas A&M tomorrow night at 8 at Blue Bell Park. And in Texas League play, the Missions continue to slide, falling to the Rough Riders tonight 4-1.
All right, the NCAA knows what they're doing with these brackets.
Sure do.
You know they wanted A&M and UT to play.
They did, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back.
The end of school is here for several of our local school districts, and some of them are providing meals for our kids this summer. Among those districts, SAISD, Edgewood, Comal, NEISD, and Southwest ISD and IDEA Public Schools.
So starting Monday, campuses are going to be offering free breakfast, free lunch. If you want more information on the dates and also in particular which campuses to go to pick up those meals and the times, you head to our website, KSAT.com.
Now, not every school's out yet. I think Northside is still in until sometime next week, Adam.
Northside is? I'm not sure about Northside, but I know a lot of schools were out by the end of last week, too.
Yeah, well, and SAISD's last day was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think Northeast last day was today.
Yep, I think you're right. And that's why I thought Northside was next week for some reason.
Might be. I'm not privy to that. I don't have a child in Northside right now. So, looking at an outflow boundary that just moved through town, and look at this. This is why we call these outflow boundaries the wild cards in these weather patterns. A few cute little showers popped up on the radar. They're going to be brief. Calaveras Lake to Floresville.
Have an awesome weekend. Good night.
See you on Monday.